In Israel, where people are getting attacked, tortured, killed, held hostage, and raped.
Oh, it's true!
What's going on here in America? Well,
Don't say it, don't say it.
we're having lovely peaceful protests.
Kill the monster!
For Palestine.
Oh, yes, of course.
Gee, color me shocked.
What kind of shit is that?
I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this
What the hell's going on out here?
is what's next. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Jasper Gonzo, what's next? Your daily dose. Hope you guys are feeling good today. Well, hopefully it doesn't sound like a broken record, but we're going to continue our focus on Israel. Well, this time we're going to bring it to the shores of America. Israel got attacked Saturday morning, 6 a.m. by Hamas. Land, sea, air, in a coordinated effort, of course, by Hamas, funded by Iran. And of course, Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, has declared an all-out war against Hamas and promises to wipe Hamas off the face of the earth. From his mouth to God's ears. But anywho, what's going on here in America? Are we, standing up in solidarity with the Jewish people of Israel? We know Christians are. But what's going on in the streets? What's going on the ground level? What is the man on the street? Or what does the man on the street think? Well, nothing good. And here we go. This comes out of Breitbart. Photos. Democratic Socialists of America cheer Palestinian terror in New York. Yes, ass wipes in New York, having lovely, peaceful protests. The Democratic Socialists of America held a rally in New York City's Times Square on Sunday in support of Palestinians' terror group Hamas and its attack on Israel, which has thus so far killed over 700, well now updated, over 900 and 2,500 are injured. The attack occurred on a Jewish holiday as Shemin Atzeret, the last festival of the High Holy Day cycle. More than 100 Israelis were also kidnapped in Gaza, including women, children, and the elderly, many of whom were abused during their abductions. The DSA, which counts for 4 Democratic members of Congress as well, Cortez, Tlaib, Bowman, and Cori Bush. Gee, why do those names sound vaguely familiar? Rallied in the heart of the city that was targeted by Islamic terrorists just 2 decades ago. Yes. Remember 9/11? Yeah, I know it's a lot of people's minds at this point, but it happened in New York City. Gee, short-term memories. And of course, here are those lovely, lovely photos of peaceful protests. There you go. Of course, look at that. That's lovely. Resistance is not terrorism. Free Palestine. Yes. A state that does not exist. Of course, pro-Hamas. This come also from in one image that has gone viral. A protest held up a swastika to taunt pro-Israel counter-demonstrators, many of whom were Jewish. Look at that. On the cover, security heightened as New York City synagogues, Jewish sites in the wake of Hamas attacks on Israel. And of course, look at that lovely group of people right there holding up a swastika. Yes, it's amazing how memories are so fucking short. The gesture was particularly offensive as scenes from Saturday terror evoked memories of Holocaust for many Jews. We go from that to this. This comes out of the Blaze. Horowitz, we brought Hamas ideology to our shores. End all U.S. aid to Israel. I've got thoughts on that. We brought this crap into our country in untold numbers. Brooke Murray, how the hell did we let these people in America? Well, because we're inclusive. Diversity, We are the melting pot of the world. We're more like the shithole now at this point. After 9/11, our government had a brilliant idea. As the mass migration from Islamic countries grew, coinciding with the rise of high-tech jihad, we responded to the attacks of the World Trade Center and the Pentagon by doubling and tripling down our intake of the most dangerous countries. Millions of Middle Eastern immigrants later, how many cells do we have in the country of people who share the demonic sentiments of those who murdered and raped hundreds of Israelis over the weekend in Hamas invasion from Gaza? Gee, I wonder. During the 1990s, I was always stunned in watching videos of thousands of belligerent Islamists rampaging through the streets of Europe, not the Middle East, shouting death to Israel every time there was a flare-up in Israel. Looking ominously across the pond, I was always thankful that we didn't have that problem here in the U.S. Really? Then came 9/11 and we realized that far too long we have imported the problem to our shores. Yes, we were asleep at the wheel that day, and sadly, 3,000 lives paid for it. The pro-Hamas rallies began to grow over time, but we were still relatively small. This weekend was different. We witnessed belligerent and often violent Hamas rallies in major cities with thousands of people, rivaling what we've seen in Europe in recent years. Take a look at the size of the pro-Hamas march in Chicago, where the worst humanity shouted, "Long live Infadada." They recognized that we brought Gaza to our shores. This is Andy No. A large people gathered outside of Israeli Chicago consulate to celebrate the Hamas terrorist attack that killed hundreds of Israeli citizens. A man in a jacket was one of the speakers. The crowd later chants support of Infadada. Infada. Excuse me. If I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize.
By the BDS movement as it grew.
BDS. Yes. I think I said BDI the other day in another video, and I apologize. Sorry about that.
Of the Zionists. Long live the Intifada!
Long live the Intifada!
Intifada! Intifada!
Intifada.
Intifada!
As clowns. Major demonstrations also took place outside the White House in New York City, San Fran shithole, Philadelphia, Seattle. Gee, what do they all have in common? And even a smaller town like Kirkland, Washington. There are many more reported planned for the week, and in some places such as Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and San Diego, pro-Israel demonstrators were assaulted. Gee, yeah, didn't see that coming. These rallies are no longer composed of a handful of newly imported jihadist sympathizers together with a dozen leftist agitators with bullhorns. Some of them number in the thousands. The part of the war on terror has been obfuscated by the media and the government for 2 decades for a reason. They don't want you to know that we are issuing green cards to over 100,000 nationals of predominantly Muslim countries every year. I haven't run the numbers in several years, but from 2001 to 18, we have issued roughly 2.3 million green cards to nationals of predominantly Muslim countries. The United States brought in more than just in a 5-year period than the entire Muslim population of Belgium, which has become saturated with radical Islamic elements. Again, color me shocked. No one should be surprised on the attacks of Israel. No one should be surprised that Hamas and Hezbollah, funded by Iran, attacked Israel. No one should be surprised that the media, the overall media, I would say easily 80, 85, maybe even 90% support Palestine. And again, no one should be surprised that you have idiots and morons and buffoons and asswipes demonstrating in major cities across the country. Because, of course, these are the same major cities that decided to, have lovely peaceful protests back in 2020, where over 24 cities were being burned and cops getting shot and people getting thrown out of their houses and stores looted. But anyway, But in the article in The Blaze, absolutely correct. We did this to ourselves. We brought this shit to our shores. There's nothing you can do. You can't turn the clock back. You can't rub the magic genie bottle. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. The damage has been done. You would have thought that after 9/11, that we as a people would have grown, that we would have learned, that we would understand that the enemy is not really them. It's us, because we allowed it to happen. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it, hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. And we'll see you next time. Peace.